I think it is.
Oh no, Neil's film. Neil's film's on the monitor.
It is indeed.
How come?
I brought that from, well, that.
We're just talking about you. This is Neil Johnson, who's a big-time director in America. He's directed, God knows, 500. There's my voice.
Yeah.
500 music videos, 15 feature films, 20
TV shows.
20 TV shows, and he's really 102 years old.
Yes.
But he's had so much extensive facial surgery that he looks 40. It's fantastic. So fantastic for 120.
And you've taken some
darling.
time out. You've worked with this wonderful lady as well.
I mean, really, that's a career for someone who's 85 years old in America. That's an extraordinary feat. You should really be up here.
I started young.
You started young.
Yeah.
How old were you?
Like minus 42 or something.
21 when I started.
21.
In Australia.
But how did you do all of that between 21 and
102.
Come up on stage.
I edited their recording audio, so that.
I'll come up on stage. No, but you're very much invited. Here, grab a chair. Go in the middle. There you go, so I can see both of you.
And
So
you
Neil
can
Johnson,
share this
everybody.
microphone, Neil. There we go.
Neil Johnson, he's one of the guests at Sci-Fi Wales, and we've known each other for 1,000 years.
18 years, actually.
Something like that.
Right, so you've known each other for 1,000 years.
Yes.
How did you first meet? How did you meet this gentleman?
Well, through Chase, has anyone heard of Chase Masterson?
Yeah.
Deep Space Nine.
Yes?
Yeah.
Rob? Deep Space Nine, a fantastic actress in America, and most beloved by the fans. And she's very much like me in that she loves to, genuinely really loves to chitter-chatter at her signing table, and is really super friendly and really wants you to have a nice experience at a table. She's not like one of those grumpy actors that's like this, and you come to their table and they go, yes, what do you want? And you go, oh, can I have that? Yeah. Next! And you think, oh no, what a horrible person, And she's a bit like me, she's very, very chatty. Anyway, so I was at a convention. Do you mind if I...
Go for it, though.
So I was at a... and so forth. So we shot a lot of the on top of the tanker scenes first, and one of which was me
That
dying.
scene right there.
That scene right there. So what happened was we used to, this was before digital movies, which I don't know if you've got a panel today, do you? Oh, what a shame. Because Neil could talk about digital filmmaking versus film. And anyway, so we shot on film, and it meant that we had something called rushes, and we'd all congregate at the local theatre to watch the rushes. And the rushes are what's the footage from the day or from that week. And so you just watch them raw, unedited. And George Miller came up to me afterwards and went, oh, I really wish that we hadn't killed your character off because you've got this thing. He said, I don't know how to explain it. It's like this it factor. There's this thing about you that you only see on the screen and through the camera. And he said, when there's that scene with you and Mel, and I'm listening thinking, what the hell is he talking about? Because I'd never acted before. There's that scene with you and Mel. There's these moments where we could really have built something. I thought, great, now you're telling me. I'm dead already, and now you're telling me that you really wished you hadn't killed me. Fantastic. And then came the next Mad Max, which was Mad Max 3, and then came Mad Max 4, and I'm dead. And if I had lived, I could have been in 3 and 4. What a shame.
But I can tell you what that is, actually. There's again, we were talking about last night, there's an honesty in a person. When you're on camera especially when you're in close-up. You can't lie. You have to be so honest. If you are being dishonest in your mind, if you're not feeling the real emotion, the camera can see it, and that's why.
Sensitive too.
Yeah, you've got to be in touch with it. And Virginia just has that natural talent that the camera's on. She's relaxed. She can be herself and be real. I mean, that scene at the end of, and when she died in Mad Max. I mean, from an outsider's perspective, it's like, oh my God, I feel for her. I can feel her loss and
I don't
pain.
think I did that, because I remember looking at that back and thinking, oh my God, it looks so fake. But
No, but it was beautiful because it was poetic. It was like you could see, oh wow, my life has begun. I'm doing it all. I'm here, and it's gone, and my life is gone now. And you know, I mean, I got goosebumps talking about it. You see, there's something about what you put out on camera that the audience will just resonate with, and that's her talent. That's the talent you have.
And George was saying if it was something that we could manufacture, we would, but it's not, and it only comes every now and again. And what a lovely thing to say. I had no idea what he was talking about, but now I kind of get a sense of it because I've seen it myself in other people. You know, anyway, Stuart, you were going to ask lots of questions.
I was going to ask if it's my job to get you talking, and it's brilliant. I'm sitting watching a pair of you and I come to no, stay anyway.
You can stay, it's fine. Well, you're a filmmaker. Oh my goodness, it's very highly
You've worked with
respected.
each other, so
And we've worked with each other.
I want to listen.
Yes, he's
yeah, you
listening.
do both.
Ask
So
him.
going back to The Road Warrior was your first film. What was the thing that you learned the most from that first role that you then took on to do other roles? Was it something like, now I've got it, and that helped you progress?
To trust my instinct. Because I kept on asking the director, George Miller. I had done television commercials before then, probably about 57 of them. And I didn't understand that was acting that I'd done in the commercials. Because a lot of them were just, you know, at the time I was very young, you know, pretty girl brushing her hair or something. But then the more I did, the more complicated the commercials became. And then I realized that I was actually acting in the television commercials, but I realized later. I didn't know at the time. So I didn't know that I could act at all. And when I took Mad Max, I was terrified. I loved the sound of the character, and I was terrified of the acting process. And I kept on asking George Miller, the director, was that okay? Did you want me to do something else? Because I wanted his guidance. And he, at the time, he was one of those directors that didn't give you any guidance at all. He was a great action director. And I don't know whether he did it on purpose or not, but he wouldn't give me any guidance. He would just think, no, what you're doing is fine. And maybe it was, but I think he wanted me. He's very clever. He was a doctor before he was a director. And he was new to directing. He'd only done a couple of films, a couple of short films. So I guess he was finding his way as well. But I think he was smart enough to see that I was nervous, and there was anguish there, and I was a bit scared, and not knowing what to do as a person. And that's all perfect for that character.
It is, yeah, it fits into the world of Mad
Yeah.
Max, doesn't it? Because
Yeah.
everybody
So what I was doing, being nervous, asking him, what do I do now? You know, that sort of anticipation and that, you know, heart beating but trying to be strong. All of that, you know, really worked for the character. So he just wanted me to use it all, but didn't want to say to me, I want you to use all of that, because as soon as he had said that, I would have thought, oh, nervous, he wants me to be nervous. All right, well, I'll be nervous. And that's not what he
That's not
wouldn't
the
have
honesty
wanted-
that Neil was talking about.
Yeah, it
Was
had
he
to
got to actually
be
be
not
nervous?
think nervous, be nervous. So approach it from that way, not from that way. So after I thought about the whole thing, I realized that, oh, okay, it's about feeling and it's about instinct. So that's what I learned. And I didn't really properly, in my opinion, learn how to act until Farscape, which was in the late 90s.
Do you find it's the Farscape that you're known for most? You know, when people come up
Depends
to
what
meet you, is
country.
it Mad Max or is it...
Depends what country. Yeah. The photos that I have on my signing table are an indication of what's popular or what I'm known for in this country. And that's James Bond, Mad Max, Farscape, Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty.
Yes, Rick and Morty. Did you not know? Yeah.
And I think that's about it. But in Australia, I'd have different photos out.
Which ones would you have out in Australia, for example?
Oh, in Australia, I would definitely include some of the old stuff, which was Neighbours and E Street and Vietnam with Nicole Kidman and Castaway with
Oliver
Nicholas
Reed,
Rogue's
isn't it?
Castaway. Brilliant director. Actually, Nicholas Rogue, I don't know if you know him. I mean, anyone who loves art film would know Nicholas Rogue. He's done so many incredible features, and he was married to, who's he married to? He's married to an incredible actress who's won so many awards.
Neil,
Nicholas Rogue, who's got Google? Who's got their phone?
I think who's got Wi-Fi signals?
Google,
probably.
who's got a Wi-Fi
I couldn't get any
signal?
signal in here before.
No, but the Wi-Fi is Camry or something.
Oh, the venue's good for you.
Yeah, the venue is. very
My researcher
Talk amongst
will look
yourself.
into this.
Talk amongst yourselves. Anyway, just a funny thing on the side. Nicholas Rogue, at the audition, I couldn't understand what he was saying. Honestly, I couldn't understand a word. Because he has that, you know when you watch BBC politicians, BBC Parliament, I think it's called, on late at night, boring, unless you're really into politics, but, you know, and want to watch. No, it must be First Wife.
Susan Stephen.
No, Nicholas Rogue, R-O-E-G,
R-E-G.
First Wife. Oh, she might have been second wife, who knows. Anyway, when you watch the politicians, the House of Lords, some of the, you know, the older chaps are kind of portly with, you know, fat cheeks, and when they talk, they go, what? And you think, what did he just say?
Teresa Russell.
Teresa Russell.
Oh, yeah.
That's her, Teresa Russell.
Good news, mate.
Incredible, amazing actress. And he's a bit like that, you know, it's not portly, but he has he's part of the gentry, you know, and he talks to it, terribly, Virginia, will you draw to our little girl, okay?
No, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, all right, what was that again? All right. Okay, so literally, and I just laughed all the way through the audition. And I think I must have been cheeky, because I can sometimes be naturally cheeky. It comes from my mother. She was very mischievous and very posh lady, but had a twinkle. You know, you meet people who are terribly, terribly posh and very elegant and, you know, beautiful, but they're really twinkly, sparkly, and naughty. You know, and she had a wonderful sense of humour. She was very, very silly and naughty. So I inherited some of that from her. And so I was just winding him up, I think. I can't remember what I was saying. But he liked me because I was cheeky. He said, I'm giving her the role because she talked back to me and I like it. You know?
What did Nick just say?
Yeah.
I'll accept it.
Yeah, so I just thought, oh, okay. And so it was hilarious through the script. And I think nobody could really, I'm sorry, Nicholas, if any of your relatives are watching right now, with great respect, brilliant director. But we couldn't understand you, darling. So in the end, the script was thrown out and everyone just sort of made it up. So that was kind of funny. Anyway, that was Castaway.
So Neil and I were chatting downstairs about filming locations. So let's go back to the Road Warrior a little bit.
Yeah.
What were your memories of the, you know, because it was quite a hefty climate, vicious, hot.
No, cold.
No, really?
It was shot in the desert. In
It was in Broken Hill, wasn't it?
in Broken Hill, which is North Victoria, South New South Wales. In winter, and everyone thinks the whole of Australia is boiling hot all the time, but actually it's not. And it's like America, but upside down. In America, you've got the boiling hot states down the bottom, Florida and all the New Orleans and that whole belt there. Up the top, Canada, towards Canada, it's cooler. Now in Australia, it's the opposite. So down the bottom of Australia, it's cold. The top of Australia, it's tropical, boiling hot. Close to where Neil comes from, is tropical and beautiful. You know, real Sunshine Coast, it's called. But where we shot was in winter, down south. It was bloody freezing! And we were all scantily clad, and I was supposed to have bare legs, and I think I had bare arms, so I was supposed to be barer than I was. Not ridiculously so, because she's a warrior. It was too cold, and they had to put. It was the same with everybody. You know, anyone who had scantily, anyone who had bare legs had to, you know, had more clothes put on them. Except for Wes, who played the chief baddie, who had his bottom bed, and of course we had to have the bottom bed, but the bottom was blue from cold. So the makeup artist had to keep, you know, painting this hairy boy bum, you know. Probably not the most savoury job for a makeup artist.
And he's very much a man's man, isn't he?
He's a real blokey bloke, so there'd be no trimming going on, if you know what I mean, with Stuart's face like...
Can you imagine what you've been doing at work today?
But they do, the poor makeup artists have to do terrible things like that. They have to, honestly, the places where they haven't been, don't exist.
No.
But really, they've been everywhere on everyone's body, practically. But you just like going to the dentist, you just have to, you know, grin and bear it. So Vernon Wells had his bottom cheeks, his whole bottom touched up every day, throughout the day. And believe me, he's not the kind of guy that you want to stick a makeup brush up his, you know, nether regions. He would sooner cut your hand off, you know. He's a real tough bloke, so it was, you know, quite hilarious.
So with the makeup on Road Warrior, that may not have taken as long as it did on Farscape. What was the makeup process for
Well,
that?
the makeup, I
Took
had
a
no
while.
makeup. I was very young and I was a model at the time, so I had flawless skin, not like now with the, you know, age spots. Oh, getting old.
We'll cover you up, dear.
Yes,
It's
thank
okay.
you very
It's
much.
okay.
Yes.
He's 102, so...
I know
just-
he's 102, he's
fine.
doing well, he's doing well. But at the time, you know, I don't mean to make you all sick, but, you know, when you're a young model and you have to...
She doesn't mention she was the #1 model in Australia, like the #1 for a few years running. So, you know, it's quite a big thing and very, very well internationally recognised
Thank you very much.
in
He's
Milan.
my fan club, leader of my fan club.
She'd never admit to this, but actually it was
No.
true because I was there and she
Yeah.
really was. You know,
Well,
she was the it girl. Many,
It
many
girl.
years. Still is.
sort of. Not.
At least in Wales.
Thank you.
At least in Wales.
At least in
Aw.
Wales. Oh, bless.
Yay, Wales!
Oh, bless. Yay, Wales. So no makeup. I didn't need it really at the time. I was pretty young and fabulous. But what they did do was, so no lipstick, no eye makeup, no makeup, nothing, except some dirt. But it wasn't Hollywood dirt, because when you see Hollywood dirt, it's really stupid, because they put the dirt there, you know, to sculpt the cheek, or it might be on the side of the nose or something. Now this was literally, you know, like a bucket of dirt chucked at you. So it was very realistic. So I had dirt and tire smoke, dust chucked at me, as you do, you know, and I had dirt put in my hair, because my hair is quite fine, and had red dirt put in it, and they used to crimp it. So that was the only indication of the 80s. But they also crimped it to make it look more, you know, like messy. And eyebrows. They said that she, even though she was a warrior, and she wasn't into the finery, the more feminine, what do you say, how do you say it, the little touches that females enjoy, looking pretty and things. There was still something in her genes. So she had war paint on. She had 2 markings, which were war paint, instinctively, the warrior war paint. But they were also made into eyebrows, I suppose, a little tiny bit of her feminine side, you know, just creeping out a tad. So she had that. And she had a scar on her face. The makeup artist said, your face is too modelling. It's too modelly, so we have to just dirty it up a bit. We're not going to put makeup on you because that would be ridiculous. We're just going to throw dirt at you, literally, and because it had to be that way, and a scar. I can't remember what side the scar was on. I think it was on this side. And they made it with, well, it was fake scar, whatever that's made of, and it sort of shrinks the skin a little bit. So a lot of people actually thought I had a scar.
It's like wax. It's a wax.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah,
Kind
it's
of
little pasty stuff.
Yeah. Oh, and they shave my eyebrows. They shave them from, and they've never really grown back. I have to draw in my eyebrows. But yeah, they shaved 3/4 of the eyebrows, and funnily enough, the same makeup artist many years later did my face in Farscape. And she was to shave everything off your face. So she had a go. This time she got her way and shaved all of my eyebrows off for the lovely Zan, which you see there. So she shaved off my eyebrows completely. She wanted to cut off my eyelashes, and I said, no, that's going a little bit too far, because I don't know if they'll ever grow back, and I will have a life and a career after Farscape, but she didn't care. She said, okay, well, if you won't let us cut them off, then what we want to do is bleach them white. I said, no, you're not bleaching my eyelashes white, because I don't want bleach near my eye in case it gets in. And then she said,
rightly so, too.
and rightly so. And then she said, okay, all right, well, what we want to do is dye the inside of your mouth navy blue. I said, really? You want to dye the inside of my mouth navy blue? And that's the part of your body that absorbs everything instantly straight into your bloodstream. So that's why watch what you eat, everybody. You know, put good food into your body. But anyway, that's a little aside. So navy blue, in order to get rid of the pink colour of, you know, being a human, she wanted to make it completely navy blue, which would mean that they'd have to keep applying it. Which would mean, guess what? The inside of my mouth would be permanent. It would be dyed pretty much navy blue. I said, so what happens after Farscape when I have the whole of my inside mouth navy blue? That's not our problem.
Wow, it's like it is good.
Really? Oh, thanks. Thanks for that. I know, just unbelievable. So I just said, no, I don't think so. Because I really will have a life after, unless you kill me, unless the job kills me. But navy blue, I just thought that was just amazing. They wanted to dye. Can you imagine? Dyeing your mouth. The inside.
Blueberries.
Hmm?
Eat a load of blueberries, wouldn't that have the same effect?
No, because that wouldn't be permanent, and it would still show.
Reapplying it, you had blueberries.
No, you would have to eat. You would have to swill your mouth with so many blueberries that eventually the blueberry dye would die, because it dyes cloth.
Oh, right.
So it would eventually die. Yeah, but it would have to be, if you eat a blueberry, yeah, maybe momentarily your tongue is a little bit blue, but in order to dye the whole inside of your mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, between every take you'd have to keep eating. And then you
I
just
mean, it
feel
would be
sick.
crazy. It would be impossible, basically. So anyway.
Has anybody got any questions for Virginia? We could happily keep coming up with more, but if anybody's got some, by all means,
Do take advantage, because there may not be
take
another
advantage.
time where I'm sitting in front of you. You may think, oh God, I should have asked her.
This is why I'm loving it, because it was 3 years ago, wasn't it, you were here?
Yeah.
And I didn't get a chance to have a nice lengthy catch up with you, so I'm loving the fact that I'm able to do it now.
Yeah.
And I'm loving the fact you've
And we
joined
must
us.
apologise for putting the panel at opening time, you know, and thank you very much for actually coming up here and taking the time away from the floor, because at opening usually people want to go around downstairs. If we had the panel later, it would be we'd have a lot more people. But
This is intimate.
I was a last minute guest, so I'm very lucky actually to have an opportunity.
And also the panel will be available on From Page to Screen podcast.
Ah.
Yeah, we'll now, yes, because Neil's...
I thought I
Oh, and listen, while we're here, especially Page to Screen, hello everybody watching. I just want to, my dear friend, Neil, has just completed a film, so your film is available, or it will be available?
Oh no, it is.
It is available. What's it called?
Rogue Warrior, starring Tracy Birdsall. It's not available yet in the UK. We sold that 3 times at Walmart. It's a proper sci-fi film with a great warrior woman type person, inspired by Miss Virginia, of course.
Oh yes, yeah.
We have a few Blu-rays downstairs if anyone needs them, but it's been turned into a television series now, so it's a thing.
So it is available in the UK, downstairs.
Just downstairs. Any 10
Downstairs.
Any-
I'm going to get one. I'm having one. It's a good film. Said it
Bit of-
once, but I
bit
want
of-
to on the Blu-ray.
Promotion.
So, out of all the films, all the TV shows you've done, which ones do you think people don't talk about enough? So we know about Farscape
Right.
and Road Warrior, Living Daylights. Which one do you think, do you know what, people need to check that one out a bit more, because it's amazing. Which ones?
I wish I could remember the name of it now. Blood and, what was it called? It was, Janet Street Porter was the producer, And I did it in England, many, many years ago, in the 80s. And look it up online, Blood and something. What's it called? And it was, she was doing Studio One, do you know what, isn't that terrible, I can't remember the name of the TV show, but she had a TV show that she produced. It was really super hip and cool. And they decided to make a little mini drama, kind of like Dallas and Dynasty. But they wanted to make, it was really an ingenious idea, they wanted to make it really, really short. Pardon me, so it was the length of a few television commercials, probably about 10 minutes long, and they wanted to feature fashion in it. And so they introduced all of the latest fashion houses, I mean amazing couture fashion, as well as other fashion. Not so much high street, but really couture. So it was like this Dynasty Dallas fashion show drama, but it was hilarious and it was really funny. It was crazy, and I played this character called, it's not called Blood and Tears, Blood and Sweat, Blood and something. I played this character who was a drunk, and she was the co-owner of a cosmetic company, and her name was Chablis.
Also an obsession, wasn't it?
No. It's called Blood and, is that my IMDb page?
Trying to find it,
IMDb. Flesh and Blood! Did you look?
Flesh and Blood?
Flesh and
You
Blood.
mean that Flesh and Blood? Oh, no, of course.
No.
There's another
Flesh and Blood. Did you look it up?
Rutger Hauer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Flesh and Blood. The Janet Street Porter fashion show. And it was just magical. I really loved that character, and it was the only role that I ever played which was comedy, 100% comedy. And I really enjoyed it, and I wish, because you were saying, is there one role that you wish that people would talk about more? Yeah, that one. Because it was a comedy role, it was damn good. But I should try and get a copy of it somehow, and play it at conventions, because people would love it. And also, who was in it? We had Diane, all these really famous actors, and the guy, Tex Montgomery, who's the lead baddie in it, is the English chap who was in the last Jungle Down Under, what's it called? That
Celebrity.
Anton Deck. Celebrity.
Yeah, Celebrity Jungle.
Celebrity.
Jungle.
I don't watch it.
Yeah, Get Me Out of Here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. He was in the last one. So you've got the Google page, Flesh and Blood. Have a look at the cast. Is it Diane Quick? God, I should know I was in it, but it was so long ago and I haven't thought about it for years. You're editing this, aren't you? So you can edit out the...
Yes. I'll edit out the...
You were born in Coogee,
I was, yeah.
in New South Wales.
Any luck? Flesh and Blood? Go on my IMDb page. Are you on my IMDb? Look for Flesh and Blood.
Time Slip.
Oh, Time Slip. Yeah, it's another one that I should be reading.
Norman Loves Rose, you're in that as well.
Yeah. Oh, it's being distracted. Bless your heart. Where is it? Is it here? Oh, Network 7. Oh, it's called Network 7. That's right. I forgot about that. Network 7. And it says one episode, but it wasn't one episode. It was more than that. But they just don't have... Oh, here we go. Larry Lamb.
Oh, yeah. Larry
Was
Lamb.
in it?
Oh, that's a big fan of Larry Lamb.
And Diana Quick. Kim Wilde. Oh, God, I don't remember Kim
Wilde,
Wilde.
That's the 80s pop star.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe maybe it was before she was a pop star. Oh my God, what character did she play?
Yeah, because Kim was, 81 onwards?
Okay.
Pop star years.
Diana Quick. Kim Wilde herself, interviewee. But anyway, a lot of amazing people in there. It wasn't on IMDb at all. And I actually contacted IMDb. No, I contacted Janet Street Porter via the internet. She didn't respond to me. And I just said, would you mind listing Network 7 on IMDb? Because it was such a great show. And I played Chablis. I'm so proud of it. And I also contacted the director who didn't answer me, unfortunately. But they did put it on IMDb, so Flesh and
So it is
Blood.
on there.
A comedy.
So check out Flesh and Blood, get more comedy.
Absolutely brilliant show. It was very camp. very kitsch, and we all looked amazing because it was all couture gowns. So, yeah, it was fabulous.
I'd like to ask a question about the Living Daylights. Because it was a different time for James Bond. You know, it was almost a transitional time before, you know, between. It was Timothy Dalton, wasn't it?
Yeah.
How was the vibe on set? Like, you know, what was the feeling and stuff when you were shooting that?
Well, I think there's a lot of responsibility on any actor who's playing Bond because you're carrying the weight of the brand on your shoulders. And I'm surprised that they're not a nervous wreck. But they're going to choose people who can handle the stress, obviously, because it's one of the biggest, the most famous brands in the world. So Timothy is very sensitive. Oh, he's such a beautiful man. Very, very sensitive and elegant and thoughtful and kind. You know, so wherever he was a lovely, friendly, gentle set. Really lovely man. And he made sure that he took every single person out to dinner. And he couldn't take everyone individually because it would take him years. So he took, you know, groups of people out. That was his, he just wanted to thank every single solitary person. And he chose to have all of the Bond girls all out at one dinner, which was hilarious because there was about 10 of us. Oh, we were wicked.
Would you love to be on that table?
Yeah, I'm sure I can't remember what restaurant we're at that people would put their eyes would hang out because if you're chosen to be a Bond girl, back in the old days, these days it's different. They're more muscly and gritty, you know, fighters. Whereas back in the day, a Bond girl was traditionally quite a, you know, a very good-looking specimen of the female race. Gorgeous, actually, back in the day. So you had 10 gorgeous women, and Timothy. He was blushing every 5 seconds. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. We were piling it on him. We were flirting because we loved it. You know, when you're a young woman, you know the power that you have over men. So we were, but when you're very young, you know, you grow out of that silliness after a while. But we were really teasing him. I can't remember what we were doing, nothing untoward, but we just knew how to tease him and make him feel really uncomfortable. And it was horrible, it was very uncomfortable for him, but also really nice, and I think he really, really loved it. But we were teasing him the whole time, really making fun of him and teasing him. And he's not used to that because he's a very accomplished Shakespearean actor who's very proper and used to being treated very respectfully. And we were really sending him up, rotten, you know, like, he was very delightfully sort of taking it. But, oh, poor guy, it was probably one of the most harrowing nights for him. Kind of like being on Loose Woman, I think, for any man. But he was really lovely, really sweet. And we all tried to then kiss him, and which, because...
All at once.
All at once, yeah, well, pretty much. And all diving all over him. Oh, we were behaving dreadfully.
Can you imagine being the waiter? It's like, when goes home and said, well, James Bond came in tonight, and 10 of the women from the film, and they're all kissing him all at the same time.
Yeah, well, not, it wasn't, yeah, we were, it's like playfully kissing him, yeah. But we were climbing all over him and just being really but you know, being silly, playful. It's nothing dirty or untoward. It was all very, very playful and funny. Yeah, so he was a lovely man, very nice.
Still one of my favourite Bonds.
Yeah.
Yes. But you are downstairs for the remainder of the day,
Yes.
as people can
Thank you
wander
very
over,
much.
and you've got an amazing film career, so if we've missed some films and TV shows, perfect chance to quiz.
And thank you for taking the time to come up here and see me.
Neil's down there too.
And Neil's down there too?
Yes.
Good buddy of mine?
Yes, we wave at each other all the time.
And you're not having my DVD because it's mine, I'm keeping it. It's travelling all the way down from near Manchester, so I'm keeping it.
Bye everybody, thank you very
But no,
much.
thank you very much, Virginia. Always a pleasure.
Oh,
Thank you, Neil.
See you later.
See you later.
See you later, alligator. Thanks, Neil.
That's fine.
Thanks for coming up to the panel.
Thank you.
Oh, well, you're most welcome. Should we go now?
Thank you very much, Virginia.
Oh.